difficult to apply in your life, don't apply. But one day it will be necessary to apply, and if you don't do it sooner than later, then it's going to cause you a lot of pain. You have no motivation, don't worry. This dunya will push you. It will motivate you. Very good. If you don't motivate yourself, this dunya is going to motivate you, but the dunya's motivation is going to be filled with pain and regret. So take a choice. It's like a person who says, I have a bad habit of smoking or taking drugs, and I know to stop. It is good for me, but I don't feel like stopping and I don't have any motivation to do it. Then we say continue until you reach rock bottom, and that time you're going to jump up. But be smart. You don't have to reach rock bottom. The whole point is for us to understand the life of the grave and akhirat before we reach it, so that we are preparing ourselves for it. Inshallah. May Allah make it easy. Assalamu alaikum. Afiyat olsun. Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yes.
BismillahirRahmanirRahim. Besides apologizing by the tongue, what are other ways of apologizing for doing something wrong?
Do something right. How many times we're saying you do something wrong, run to do something right, to correct it. Don't do it just regular, normal way. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't really mean it also. And people who believe that will just say, okay, that's all I just want to hear. They are fools too. You do something wrong, run to do something right. That will set the record straight. That's going to show how sincere you are. We should, inshallah. Then you're going to find a way to correct the situation. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Any other questions?
BismillahirRahmanirRahim. What is the purpose of performing a sacrifice?
Which sacrifice you're talking about? The Qurban? We've been speaking days about the purpose of the Qurban. We've been speaking from the khutbah to yesterday's sohbat, days about the sacrifice. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not show His mercy to Ibrahim alayhi salam to bring down the ram from paradise, and that ram is the ram that Adam alayhi salam, the son, Habil, he gave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Same ram that came down. And if Ibrahim alayhi salam was commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cut his son, and Allah accept that without providing a substitute, a ram from paradise, because we are belonging to the millet, the nation of Ibrahim alayhi salam, it would be a sunnat for us to do it to our firstborn males. And looking around, 95% of you around me are firstborn male, correct? And Ibrahim alayhi salam, he did not go in thinking that, oh, last minute Allah is going to replace, or He's going to say something. No, he did not. He did not pull his knife one time. He pulled his knife 70 times. We had a Qurban. Some people, they don't know, they're not prepared. We saw yesterday. They're not prepared for the Qurban, and their knives are not sharp. And when he pulled, it didn't cut. Did you ever think, when you saw that, what happened? Your heart leaped out, right? Must be so painful, although it didn't cut. Did you ever think this was how Ibrahim alayhi salam felt? He didn't pull it once, he pulled it 70 times. And it didn't cut. Did he sharpen his knife? He sharpened his knife so good. When he threw that knife, because it didn't cut, it landed on a rock and he cut that rock in half. And whatever you're watching, you're using your intelligence, you will connect things together and you will feel something. So now that Qurban, Ibrahim alayhi salam, because he was sincere, and Ismail alayhi salam too, he sincerely what? Offered his life. And he's asking his father, oh father, who do you think is more closer to Allah, who loves Allah more, who is doing better, you or me? Ibrahim alayhi salam looked at his son and said, it's me, oh my son, because I'm sacrificing. You are my dearest, my most beloved one. Because when you sacrifice me, you can have more sons. But I'm offering life that I have. Ibrahim alayhi salam pulling the knife saying, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ismail alayhi salam saying, La ilaha illallah. Voice coming down, Walillahil hamd. With that sheep, with that ram, now Allah is saying, practice that we do, it is not to remind us of this world. It is to pull us out from this world. Now when you sacrifice that animal, to know everything belongs to Allah. Allah does not need that sacrifice. We do. We need that sacrifice. Allah does not need the blood to be spilled. We need that blood to be spilled. There are so many secrets to that, especially where the blood is concerned. This Qurban, it is not a Qurban where people, especially non-Muslims, are not understanding this. Because their only idea of when blood is spilled is they go nuts, they go crazy, they jump up and down. But the Qurban, it is one of the most solemn, one of the, you don't say it is sad, but it is very heavy, it is very serious, isn't it? It is a very spiritual thing that you're watching. You don't take something, you cannot even now cut with anger. You cannot cut with loving the blood and you're cutting it. All that is completely absent from any of the Qurban that we are doing it. Because the one who's performing it too, he has to be at least in wudu or in ghusl. Not like today's. They're not doing it the same way as the Prophet ﷺ is doing it, because it turned into a business. They have people there, they don't even have a wudu, with a cigarette in their mouth, with a knife that is dull, because they have to cut hundreds of sheep, and they're cutting it a little bit, blood is flowing, and they're snapping the neck. And they just put it aside. Next one hours they're going it, isn't it? Isn't this what's happening? That's no good. Or worse now, I'm sure there are places where they say we don't need people, we can just have a machine to do it. Just to say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, it's just going to cut. It's happening for Zabiha. Maybe it's happening for Qurban. What happens to all that meat that is in Saudi Arabia, by the way, that people are cutting? You think they pack everything nicely to give it to poor people? Think again. Millions are being cut. What do you think happened to them? if it's all given to poor people to eat? Something to think about. Now, when we talk about the spiritual purpose of the Qurban, we're saying that Qurbani, the way that it's giving its life for us, we should offer our life to Allah. But what are we offering now? We're offering the nafs. Allah has given us the life. It doesn't belong to us now. But it says the nafsu mutma'in, it must become, not the nafsu amara. To turn the nafsu amara into a nafsu mutma'in, a disobedient ego into an obedient ego, to sacrifice our ego. And that is the way this much is enough. Wa min Allahu tawfiq. Al-Fatiha. Amin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Have a good day.